Soren. Thanks for getting this in. I'm sorry I didn't catch it last night. I didn't log in after you put it on. So here's your contact sheets. I really appreciate the detailed explanation that you gave of how you achieved your white balance. And I really like dialing my light balance in, specifically in K, because those presets are, yeah, like you kind of described, just depending on the quality of light that you're using to begin with, the presets can be really inaccurate in your ending result, and it's really smart to just do the math and figure it out. I have to say I'm really attracted to this set of images right here, and I want to like these, but the wrinkled background and then this bit of flare that you've got is too distracting for me. And you know, of course, just a much narrower depth of field would solve that problem. Same here with the apple. And then the angle and clarity that you have on these of the radio are just beautiful. So let's look at your finals. All right, so yeah, I have this one lassoed because I was really enjoying this. I am impressed with this right here. I don't know if I can, let me try and, you're not going to be able to see it, I guess, because it gets darkened, but the way that you've been able to separate the black of this surface on the microphone and from the black of your background ever so gently is very nice. And then the soft curves that are described here by the light, really nice. There's your dad. Not too shabby for a nap shot. Yeah, I would say that the electronics are your best shots, minus this one. You know, the background and the flare becomes too distracting. But the rest of these I think are really interesting. And I'll tell you what would have been interesting here, because I was reading the critiques that you're offering your students, and you are giving invaluable criticism to your peers. So thank you for that. And whoever gets to have your feedback is very, very fortunate. So I'm going to do the same for you, because a lot of what you've done for your peers is you've said, well, you know, that what you did was good, but it made me think of this other possibility. So here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say, hey, this is a really interesting shot, but it makes me think of a different possibility that I might like to see in the future, because you're going to do a lot of this sort of tabletop photography. And that would be, again, a much narrower depth of field, because we have, you know, in pretty fine focus, the entire map here of the Chugach State, whatever that is, land. And I mean, if I can read it, you know, it's in pretty fine focus. So I think it would be very interesting to lose it entirely. And, you know, and even like whip out that tilt shift lens now, why not? And see if you can't, you know, have very isolated focus to emphasize what it is that's your subject. Because here, you know, you know, not in a bad way, but if I was going to be really pressed to say what your subject is, I assume it's this thing, you know, your lens case here. But maybe it's, assuming that's a lens case, but maybe it's, you know, maybe it's the interesting abstract lines that these are making, you know, or I don't know. So that would be my take on that. And also, like, and I remember this from when you were in the studio class. I think it was a studio class. I'm not sure. Maybe it was lighting then too. I don't know. But anyways, I remember that you had a tendency to really put your subject matter in the middle of the frame and isolate it. And so here you're getting away from that a little bit, but everything's still pretty isolated, you know? And in some ways that's smart, because then you can really be in control of the shot. But in other ways, I think it would be interesting for you to push yourself and to really push yourself compositionally. And I know that you can. You've given such detailed and thoughtful feedback to your peers based on composition, so I think you can as well. I think this is your best composition, frankly. Although it's simple, you know, this one is an easy one to achieve. But this one, I would say, is the most awkward. You know, I'm not, like, my eye goes like this, around and around and around and around in the middle of the frame. Okay, so maybe this is your best composition. The horizon line really is doing it for me, too. I don't know. I think that would be a good thing for you to work on. I mean, the quality of light that you've chosen here is really nice. It looks like it's side from the window. It's soft. It's diffused. Your objective is met, getting a nostalgic feel, because we've got those lower Kelvin temperatures offering us like a slightly pink or peachish color to the light, which feels better. You know, we learn that from the text. It feels warmer, and we feel more emotionally open in that kind of light than we do at a Kelvin like 6,000 or above. We don't feel very open or trusting. And it's fascinating to me how psychological the color cast of light can be for people. So anyways, you've achieved that objective very well. And then this is, like I said, this is a sweet shot. Technically, they're really great shots. I think that you could work more with a narrow depth of field. And I'm sure you've got an arsenal of lenses, and you probably have one in there that'll shoot at 1.8 and can do the task for you. Okay, well, thank you so much for getting this in, and I will see you in next week's assignments.